Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have an older, experienced linebacker core around Servassier Dennis, but they need a young, promising linebacker to pair with Dennis in 2026 and beyond. Sadly, Levante David is 35. He's not going to play forever. Can undrafted free agent linebacker Nick Jackson be that guy in Tampa Bay and possibly replace David next year? And just how deep is the 2026 draft class at linebacker? Could the Bucs find a future starter there? I'm going to tackle this topic in today's Pewter Pulse video. But first, a reminder, hit the thumbs up button on this video. Give it a like. Also, leave a comment. Love reading your comments. Doing those two things helps us with the YouTube algorithm, gets our videos out in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you. And you've helped make Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, a channel with over 20,000 subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. Nick Jackson, I call him Action Jackson, burst onto the scene in Tampa Bay's 29-7 preseason win on Saturday night against Tennessee with a sack and an interception. Does he have a shot at making the 53-man roster? And can Action Jackson possibly be a starter at linebacker for the Buccaneers? So who is Nick Jackson, the Saturday night star for Tampa Bay? Well, he played 6 years in college, the first 4 at Virginia, the last 2 at Iowa, where he played in the shadow of All-American linebacker Jay Higgins. Jackson has played in 73 games in college. That's a lot, folks. And he's racked up 555 tackles, 33 tackles for loss, 17 career sacks, 19 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. He's got ideal NFL size at 6'1", 235, but it was an underwhelming 4.75 time in the 40-yard dash that kept him from being drafted. The Bucs, of course, signed him after the draft as a free agent. Fellow undrafted free agent linebacker John Bullock out of Nebraska generated more buzz initially, but Jackson proved to be a tick faster and a better athlete in camp. Both played well in their Bucs debut on Saturday and at least have a chance at the practice squad this year. But it was Action Jackson who led the team with 6 tackles, a sack, and he had an interception off of a tip pass by Bullock in that game. A couple more games like his performance against the Titans, and Jackson just might force his way onto the Bucs 53-man roster and make this team keep 5 inside linebackers. Saturday night was not a fluke, folks. Jackson has been sneaky good in camp with sticky coverage. He's had a couple of sacks on some blitzes, and he's made very few mental mistakes. He's a very heady player, as Todd Bowles would say. The Bucs need to find a young linebacker to pair with Servassier Dennis moving forward. This could be Levante David's last year. He's 35. Anthony Walker Jr. just turned 30. He's on a 1-year deal. Deion Jones he turns 31 later this year in November. He's on a 1-year deal. The team could use a youth movement at linebacker. Tampa Bay didn't draft a linebacker in April, as this year's class at the position was very weak and very thin. But perhaps Jackson can be an undrafted free agent find for Jason Licht and Todd Bowles. The 2026 draft class at linebacker is expected to be better and deeper. Texas's Anthony Hill Jr., Alabama's Deontay Lawson, and Texas A&M's Torian York are all expected to be either potential first or second rounders. But after getting burned by former first-round pick Devin White, I'm not sure Jason Licht wants to go that route again and draft the linebacker in the first round, even if inside linebacker is the Bucs' biggest need in 2026. Levante David and Deion Jones were both second-round picks, while Servassier Dennis and Anthony Walker Jr. were fifth-round picks. And those 4 guys are going to be atop the depth chart this year. None of them are first-round picks. Matter of fact, the NFL's best linebackers right now, San Francisco's future Hall of Famer Fred Warner and Philadelphia's All-Pro Zach Bond, were both third-round picks. This proves that teams can find some really good talent at linebacker on day 2 and day 3. So who are some guys to keep an eye on in 2025 in college prior to the 2026 draft? Well, the University of Pittsburgh, which produced Servassier Dennis and defensive tackle Kalijah Kancey, has two really good linebackers that could be in the 2026 draft class, and Kyle Lewis and Rasheem Biles. Both are a bit undersized, but fast and physical. Lewis, number 9 in this picture, had 101 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, and 4 interceptions, including a pick 6 last year, while Biles, number 31 in your picture, had 82 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, a pick 6, and 9 passes defensed in 2024. Can't wait to see what these guys have in store in 2025. Some other talented linebackers to keep an eye on in 2025 college football season include Clemson's Wade Woodaz, a great Tampa kid who I actually coached for 4 years in Pop Warner. Woodaz just happened to win a state championship at Jesuit High School in Tampa with Troy Bowles, Todd Bowles' son. Woodaz is a 2-year starter at Clemson who's entering his 3rd year as a starter. He's got 8.5 career sacks, 3 interceptions, including a pick 6, 8 pass breakups, and 4 forced fumbles. Plus, Wade's got an 86.6 coverage grade, according to PFF, and has yet to allow a receiving touchdown. Now, I'm a Kansas State guy, and the Big 12 has got some really good linebacker prospects this year. In Kansas State's Austin Romaine, BYU's Isaiah Lasker, Texas Tech's Jacob Rodriguez, and Landon Barton out there in Utah, who will actually be playing tight end and linebacker in 2025. Lasker is a really interesting prospect because of his size. He's 6'5", 240 pounds, and really athletic. And the fact that he had 15 tackles for a loss last year for the BYU Cougars, along with 3.5 sacks and 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 and a forced fumble, caught my attention, especially when BYU smacked my K-State Wildcats around early in the season. Now, there's no doubt that the Bucs will draft a linebacker next year, as Dennis will be entering a contract year, and David, Walker, and Jones are all going to be free agents. Some of those guys might be back. We'll see. But it would be nice to know that the Bucs already have a potential depth piece, maybe even a possible starting candidate down the road in Nick Jackson. We'll see what happens in Pittsburgh and if he can build upon a really good preseason debut or not. It should be noted that J.J. Russell made some splash plays in the preseason 2 years ago and landed on the practice squad as a result, but he never really amounted to much, and he's no longer in Tampa Bay. Antonio Greer Jr. made some splash plays last year in the preseason, but seems destined for the practice squad again this year, unless he's replaced by the likes of Nick Jackson and or John Bullock, unless he really steps up in these next 2 preseason games. I don't know. There's something about this former Iowa Hawkeye that really intrigues me. He's really stood out to me in practice, and Saturday night was not a surprise to me. Neither was it a surprise to the Bucs brass. They like this kid. Nick Jackson's got a real shot at sticking around if he shines again on Saturday night in Pittsburgh. Keep an eye on number 53, Action Jackson. He could be a future force on defense in Tampa Bay. Folks, you have made Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, a force for Bucs coverage. That's right. That's where you can find all of my Pewter Pulse videos, the Pewter Report podcasts. Folks, we do post-game podcasts too. Make sure you stay tuned Saturday night after the Bucs play the Steelers for our post-game coverage. Got all the Bucs video content that you're going to want at Pewter Report TV. Hit subscribe. Also hit notifications that let you know when I go live on a Pewter Report podcast or come out with the new Pewter Pulse video. Follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report, and visit pewterreport.com for all of the Bucs practice reports, injury news, roster signings, and game coverage. Again, pewterreport.com. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.